give you one more.
Why don't you just make 10 louder and make 10 be the top number and make that a little louder?
These go to 11.
Hey,
You
thank you
okay?
very much. How are you doing?
I am good, thank you. How are you?
Not too bad. We got a chance to talk to you last time around when you released your debut album. So let's just start that. That could be a good starting point. What was your feelings on the response to the record and stuff?
Oh, it completely blew my mind, if I'm honest with you, because obviously when you're first doing like a new project, you don't know how it's going to go. So you always get those pre-nerves of if people are going to like it, how are people going to take it. But to be honest with you, it went really well and it blew my mind. I was blown away by the comments and the feedback. And then obviously that went on then to where we are now, fast forward, and I'm already promoting album number 2. So very pleased and overwhelmed by everyone's response.
Right. So album number 2 that comes out, I think October 14th, right? And it's called Power Zone. As far as with this record, what was the approach to it? Was it a similar formula to the last one? Because I know you were approached about making the record with some songs in place. I think you worked with Danny. Is it working with Danny again this time around, I assume?
Yeah, so we've kind of gone on the same kind of feel as the first album, but I think the difference between the first album and the second album is that obviously when we started doing the first album, it was a new project, and Danny contacted me asking me if I wanted to demo for this project idea that he had with Frontiers. And I was demoing songs that he had ready to go. Some of the songs were songs that were written for Crazy Licks that they didn't end up using. So I feel the difference between the first album and the second album is that Danny's now writing more towards my voice a bit more, if that makes sense. So I feel like we're growing as the albums are going on so far. I feel like it's growing because he's more focused on how the songs will suit my voice as well as going down that route, if that makes sense.
Correct. So I guess what you're saying that this go round, as you mentioned, the previous time there was some songs that didn't fit Crazy Licks or weren't used. This time it was specific for you.
Yeah, it's exactly what I'm trying to say.
Okay.
You got it.
Right. Well, and with that, I mean, how much liberties do you take as far as with any of the lines, lyrics, or melodies, let's say, when it comes time to record or cut the record?
So I haven't actually written any of the songs for the albums. And reason being is because I don't feel like I need to. I think Danny writes such incredible songs that I did try, but to be honest, I'm not coming up with the stuff that he does. He's so tuned into writing this style of music. I can write music, but I think he's so good at writing this specific style that I haven't wanted to touch it because I kind of feel like he's perfected it and I just don't feel like it needs touching. So yeah, I just think he does a great job.
Okay. So in this role, it sounds like you're pretty comfortable as far as handing over the writing duties to Danny then, huh?
Oh yeah, 100%. And to be completely honest with you, he's asked me to write some stuff and I did give it a go, and I just think that he's too good. So I'm like, no, you do it, and I'll sing it.
So is the stuff you lean more towards? Because I know with the band Kane'd, that was more of a modern kind of rock metal band. Is that kind of more of what you wind up writing and you stray away from this kind of melodic rock that you do?
Yeah, 100%. So obviously I'm influenced by so many different genres of rock, and I think it comes across in my writing, and I am a bit more of an emotional writer.
Hmm.
So
Okay.
the stuff that I write is a bit maybe along the lines of Alter Bridge, because I was so heavily influenced by Alter Bridge when we were writing stuff with Kane'd. So yeah, I don't write 80 stuff as well as Danny does. So I think that he's better off doing it and I'm better off singing it.
Right. So, I mean, I think at some point, though, I guess it leaves the door open in the event you were to come up with something, that was kind of leaning more towards the sound of these 2 records that you.
Oh yeah, definitely. And I do like writing songs. So at some point I'll probably do some more writing. But for the moment, I'm really comfortable with the way this project is. And I put all my trust in the fact that Danny nails these songs. And I just don't feel like I need to write anything.
Okay, so fair enough. So you released 2 videos, 2 singles. The first one was for "I Just Want You." what was who came up with the concept for the video? And you know, I think one of the things that I've seen from people is like they like the song, they like the video. You know, I think maybe to a certain extent they go, wow, they can do that in a music video. So tell us about the concept of the video, who came up with it, and what you think of the final product.
So when it comes to doing the videos, obviously I end up going to Sweden because that's where Danny is and he has all the setup out there. So it's easier for me to fly to Sweden than for him to come over to here with everyone and all the equipment and stuff. So he usually sets stuff up and then I'll go there and do the videos. We kind of talk about it beforehand on the ideas and asks me if I like the way it's going, and we kind of agree on it that way. And then when we get there, sometimes things change. We kind of change it up on the spot because obviously if the lighting's not right somewhere or if the setting's not quite right somewhere, we try more stuff. But the direction of the video it just came quite naturally because obviously we're trying to hit on that 80s feel with the music and we're trying to like revive it today. And the videos back then were kind of like what we're doing now. And if you look back at all the 80s videos, I feel like we've kind of like captured that again. So that's we both have that vision and we're both so passionate about it. I feel like we're kind of hitting on it. And yes, it's shocked some people, which I'm quite shocked about, because if you like this style of music and you look back at all those videos, that's the way it was. That's, you know, Lisa Ford was doing it, Cher was doing it. And these women are so empowering, and they're women that I've looked up to and I've wanted to be. And I never thought that I could be like these women, but you know what? Yeah, I can.
Cool. No, and again, kind of like what you said, I think you know, having grown up in the 80s and watched the MTV and the era of the 80s hard rock glam era, I think you could slot this video right in with some of those videos. So, but yeah, I think it's kind of interesting that that was some of the feedback, not necessarily negative, but just like, wow, they can do that on a music video. So, you did release another music video, which is totally fun. I mean, how much of a blast was that to make? Tell me about that one.
Well, to be honest, we spent so much time in the arcade.
Yeah.
Yeah, we ended up being like, we filmed in the arcade. The filming didn't take that long, and then we were just there for ages, just having an absolute blast. Filming that video was so much fun. We didn't stop laughing. And I think it comes across in the video. It was so much fun. I loved every second of filming it.
What arcade game did you spend the most time playing?
Probably the Kiss pinball machine.
Oh, that's awesome. Great one. So
you just see it and you're just drawn to it. I mean, all the pinball machines were awesome, but because it's Kiss, you're like, do you know what? This is cool. And there was an AC/DC one there as well.
Oh yeah, those are cool. Yeah, I played both of those. So at this point, you've had a number of videos under your belt. Plus, you know, I think I initially had discovered you, you know, because you do the cover songs and you post those on YouTube. I think that, you know, prior to the release of the debut, when I heard that you were putting out a record, I was like, he looks familiar. And I go back and I was like, oh yeah, she's doing all these covers. Yeah, I think one of my favorites was the Motley "Kickstart My Heart" video that you did. So at this point, you know, you've had a number of videos under your belt. I mean, how comfortable are you making them, and are they fun?
Yeah, I love making these videos. So when I started my YouTube channel, I didn't really think much of it. It was just because I love these songs and I wanted to sing them. So I literally started my YouTube channel on that basis alone. And I never thought that, you know, Danny would discover me from that, because that's how obviously he found me. He came across the Edge of a Broken Heart by Vixen cover that I did. And it's got me where I am today. So I'm really grateful for it. But yeah, at the time it's just pure fun for me. When I do a YouTube video, it's because I've listened to a song and I've gone, do you know what? I really want to sing that. So I've just done it and just posted it. And yeah, I'm really grateful for YouTube. I got to be honest.
Right. Hey, what's a song that you want to cover that you've yet to cover on your YouTube channel? One that stands out in the top of your head right now that you're like, wow, I really would like to cover that one, but I haven't done it yet.
There are loads. So I loved doing Dreams by Van Halen.
Hmm.
I loved doing the Lost Boys soundtrack, Cry Little Sister.
Oh, okay, right.
Oh, there's so many. Like if I do a song on YouTube, it's because I love the song. So they all have a like some sort of meaning to me, if you
Right.
know what I mean. Yeah.
Sure, sure. So can you explain this to me? Again, I grew up in the 80s. I kind of mentioned that earlier, but so I saw a lot of these bands in their heyday and stuff like that. But it seems like there's a resurgence, with a lot of the European and Scandinavian bands where they're heavily influenced by music. Can you speak to that? Because even yourself, you kind of fall under that where you're a fan of some of that music. What's this obsession with that?
It just looked like everybody had so much fun back then. I mean, I'm really jealous that you grew up in that era. The bands are amazing. And I feel like even though music changed throughout the years, and obviously grunge became a thing, and then music became a little bit more meaningful, where people were writing darker lyrics, and people resonate with that sometimes, and they need that music sometimes when they're feeling different emotions. I do feel like the style of the 80s was so uplifting, and I feel like that was getting a little bit lost today. So I grew up loving this style. I discovered Def Leppard when I was 13. And every time I'm feeling like I need uplifting, it's always the style of music I go back to. So I just feel like everybody's so passionate about it. And when the lockdown happened and the pandemic happened, I feel like everybody needed this style of music. So I feel like it's coming back and we're trying to revive it. And I think it's what people need in their lives when they're feeling down. So I feel like that's why it's coming back around, because people are missing it.
Yeah, yeah. And speaking of keeping it alive and it's coming back, I think you're going to be part of the Monsters of Rock crew, which I'm thrilled about because I'm going to be on it. And I get to see you because that's probably the only way I'm going to get a chance to see you perform live. But walk us through that. How did you get approached about being a part of that, and what that process was?
I've been trying to get onto this cruise for so long. I've contacted the cruise like for years, even with my previous band, and I wanted to play this Monsters of Rock cruise for so long. It looked so cool, and then I didn't even think about it one day, and then I got contacted and asked if I wanted to be on it, and I was like, what? Absolutely gobsmacked. So yeah, they approached me, which I'm just absolutely mind blown about, as you can imagine, and seeing my name on that lineup it feels like a dream sometimes, but yeah.
Right.
I can't wait. I cannot wait. And I'm so chuffed that you're going to be there.
Yeah. Well, have you, in again, keeping the theme of the cruise, I mean, have you thought of, hey, what songs am I going to perform? Have you started putting a kind of a mental list together before you finalize anything?
Oh, of course. I'm constantly thinking, what songs are going to go down well? What can I do? Because obviously the set is a set time, and now I have 2 albums which take over that time. And yeah, coming up with the set list of the Monsters of Rock cruise is going to take some time. So I'm already pre-thinking. I haven't planned yet, but I'm very excited about this process.
Is there a particular band you're looking forward to seeing? Because I know there's probably still a handful of bands that they're going to yet announce, but they pretty much got most of the lineup announced. Is there anybody that stands out there you're like, I gotta go see them?
So I saw them last week, but I always love seeing Reckless Love.
Okay.
Lee Aaron's on there as well, which is great. So that's going to be good. Then you've got Extreme, which is mad. It's like, how am I part of this lineup? It's crazy. It's so crazy. There's so many bands. Autograph. Just everybody, whoever I can see, I'm excited to see. It's going to be good.
Fantastic. Are there any newer bands that you're really into at the moment? And who are they?
So I'm a massive fan of Nesta. I know they were out a while ago, but obviously they've come back out with new albums. And I didn't know of Nesta until their most recent stuff. So I'm loving Nesta at the moment. Obviously Heat, I love. Skid Row I'm listening to a bit as well, because obviously Eric's in there, and Eric was in Heat, and I was a massive fan of Heat, and Eric was with Skid Row. With Heat, yeah. So yeah, you know what I mean.
yeah, I got it. Yeah.
But yeah, Heat, Crazy Licks, I'm listening to a lot. Oh, there's so many. There's so many.
Nice. Yeah,
You're putting me on the spot now as well.
there's a bunch of them for sure. So here's one of the things. I just got a couple more things and I'll cut you loose. Thank you for your time. But since we're based in North America, I'm going to throw out a couple bands and you tell me which you prefer and why. All right. So this is going to be kind of a hard decision. I got 6 bands. I'm going to throw 2 of them at a time. You pick the one, and then you tell me why you prefer that one over the other one. So let's start with Aerosmith versus Van Halen. Which do you prefer and why?
Oh, this is so mean.
Oh, come on.
Oh, that is so mean. Okay. Oh no, I can't answer that because I love both of them.
Oh, come on. You got it. Gun to your head. You got to pick one.
Okay. Aerosmith.
And why?
Because they're so cool.
Well, that's good enough for me. Yeah, I mean, they're definitely the Perry and Tyler are definitely still cool.
Oh, but that's a really hard question because obviously I love Van Halen as well, and I love the songs that Sammy Hagar done with Van Halen. Obviously, Dreams I covered. And
well, hold on. Yeah, I know about that.
Can I say both?
But hold on. Is it Van Halen with Hagar or Van Halen with Roth?
I love Sammy Hagar, but there's nothing against David Roth because I think he did a great job. But obviously Sammy Hagar's voice pulled me right in. So yeah.
And just real quick on that, because I've heard this from folks across the pond, as they say. Is it true though that the Hagar era was probably more popular than the Roth era in Europe?
Did what? Sorry.
I said, is it true that the Hagar era was more popular than the Roth era in Europe?
Oh, I'm not sure.
Okay.
I'm not sure because obviously Jump is a massive song. And if you say Van Halen to somebody who's not a huge fan of Van Halen, instantly they'll say Jump. So
okay. Fair enough.
Yeah.
Well, moving on to the next pair. Warrant or Poison?
Warrant.
Okay. Why are we going with Warrant?
I don't know because I love both of them. I'm just instantly thinking she's
okay. Fair enough. Okay, we'll go with that. Here's the last pairing, and I'm sure this is going to be equally as tough as the previous one. Motley or Bon Jovi?
Motley.
That surprises me because I think the Bon Jovi is kind of more of the melodic, but okay, why Motley?
Because I like that they're a little bit more edgy than Bon Jovi. Now, I love Bon Jovi because they are more commercialized, obviously, and they're the kind of songs you listen to, you can sing all the words to, but I love that Motley have a bit more of an edge to their music. Do you know what I mean? Do you know what I mean?
No, I gotcha.
I love every band you said I've loved, so this is so mean, honestly.
Dude, it's a good thing I didn't come up with another 6 then, I guess, right?
Yeah.
So, all right, well, thanks for your thoughts on that. So I just got a couple more things. Can we expect another video for this album down the road?
See, I've done a few interviews today, and all of you have asked me this.
Oh, I mean,
and all I'm going to say is keep an eye on my social media page.
Gotcha. Last thing, best on the record, and like I said, looking forward to seeing you on the cruise, and hopefully every band gets a couple performances, so I think you're going to do a couple. You're probably going to mix it up a little bit. Look forward to seeing both. But what's the status of Kane? I'm just curious because I discovered that band online as well. What's the status of that at the moment, being that you're doing this?
So with Kane'd, obviously, the pandemic hit and I got the offer to do this project. So I ended up creating this project through the pandemic. I was fortunate to have the stuff at home. But we've kind of just gone off and doing our own things at the moment. We haven't been able to get together properly because I think the pandemic changed up so much stuff in people's lives that we've kind of ended up doing our own things a little bit, but we're hoping that we will come back together at some point and do some stuff together again. So it's not over. We haven't said that it's over. Some people think that it's over, but obviously I see my sisters all the time. They're my sisters. We're best friends. I love my sisters and my brother to death. So we always get together. We always talk about it. And we always say, you know what, it's going to be cool to be able to do that again.
Right.
When things quieten down in other areas, they have their lives, I have my life, and yeah, it'd be cool to come back together at some point.
Nice. Well, hey, thank you for your time. We'll get this online and get you guys linked. Look forward to seeing you on the cruise, and pre-ordered the record. So can't wait for that.
Oh, thank you so much for your time, and I look forward to meeting you in person.
All right. Well, take care, huh? Thank you for your time again.
And you take care.
Yep. Bye.
Bye.